As we've talked about over the last few months, quizzes are great low-stakes, formative assessment ways for students to get practice and feedback. But once those quizzes have been graded, it's a great way for us to get formative feedback too. I've got 5 minutes and 5 minutes only to show you a great, easy-to-use tool for you to get insight into your students' performance and scores. So we're going to start on the quizzes page and find the quiz we want to generate a report for. Here, I'm going to use the new quiz called Sample New Quiz. Clicking into that, you're going to go all the way to the bottom to where it says Build. And in the top, we're going to find Reports and click on it. There are a few different types of analysis that we can look at. And the first thing we're going to click into is Quiz and Item Analysis, this first box here. And if we've not already generated a report, we can click the button to do so. Once that report is available, we'll see some key at-a-glance information, and we can click the option to view the report. At the top, we're going to see some key information. We'll see the highest score earned, the lowest score earned, the mean and median scores, and the average time that students spent on the quiz. Below that information is a distribution plot of the scores. Then for each question on the quiz, we can get additional information. The first thing that we can see is a variable called item difficulty. This is a ratio that looks at how many students in the class answered the question correctly to generate a metric to help you understand how difficult or easy that question may have been for learners. Moving over to the right, we can see the mean or median number of points that students earned on the question, and also a metric called discrimination index. This is going to look at how well an item differentiates between the highest and lowest scoring individuals. A high discrimination index indicates that individuals who performed well on the test tended to perform well on this particular question. Then moving over to the right, we can get more detailed information by clicking on this V or caret to open the rest of a box. Here we can see a corrected item total correlation coefficient, which provides an additional discrimination index. And then further down, we can see a frequency summary. For each question, we'll get information about how many people selected which answer for the question. And this breakdown can be helpful to see what are the commonly selected choices and to help you understand where students might be having some misunderstandings of the content. So for each question, we'll get an answer frequent summary, but that will look a little bit different based on the question type. So quickly, if I can scroll through here, we can see a multiple answer question. We'll have an answer frequency summary that shows us how many respondents clicked on each of the answers. An essay question will also show a little bit different. It'll show how many people got it correct or incorrect, for example. Fill in the blank questions. We'll have a frequency summary that indicates how many of them answered what way. These can be collapsed or expanded. And then a hotspot question will also look a little bit different and will just show us how many people answered correctly or incorrectly. If I scroll back up to the top, I hope you can see that you can export this CSV file. This can be particularly helpful for you if you're trying to compare scores, say year to year or between sections of a class. Going back to this reports page, I do want to note that you will only be able to generate a report after 3 or more students have submitted their quiz. Data will only show for a question if it's been graded for more than half of the submissions, and it will only show the data for a student's latest attempt. So those are some good things to know about these reports. If you have tied your questions to outcomes when you built the quiz, you can get additional analysis about those. And I'm going to move to the student analysis option and generate a report here. This will only be viewable outside of Canvas, so I'm going to go ahead and click to export the CSV. And here we can see the breakdown by student, including what date and time they submitted their quiz, how many attempts they used, and then scrolling through this, we can see the answers they provided for each question. Moving all the way to the right of this file, you can see the overall score per student. So that takes me to the end of my time for today. Join us again on September 26th, 2025 for TLC Tech Time, where we'll explore how you can grade and moderate quizzes in Canvas, or reach out to the TLC for more information. And in the meantime, remember that formative assessments are a great way for students to get feedback, and they can help us too.